Hey everyone, welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a weekly podcast about lifestyle and healthy eating. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative yet entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
We'll cover everything but the kitchen sink. Each week we'll discuss topics ranging from how to protect yourself from developing cancer, spicy foods to rev up the libido, to caring for your palliative grandfather with Alzheimer's.
We'll also delve into more complex issues like, what the heck is oat milk? Why doesn't my butt fit into these jeans? And every guy's favorite question, will eating spinach really make it bigger? Join us each week as we strive to educate, enlighten, and entertain you.
If I had known that I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, says baseball legend Mickey Mantle. The way we live our lives and daily lifestyle habits can certainly affect our health in a good or bad way. We know what's good for the heart can be good for the circulation. This can have implications on many health issues for men. A crappy diet can sink an erection. After a decade of connecting with men and their wives and partners in a weekly nutrition and prostate cancer group for men having radiation treatment at the cancer clinic, there are many pearls of wisdom learned about men's health, their concerns, and specific issues they deal with. Health and men. There's many stereotypes, and this can be one of the reasons why men have issues they do. Are you man enough to tune in? Episode 22, Men's Health. Spinach is just the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip, hey?
Well, you asked if it makes it bigger.
If what makes it bigger?
Spinach.
Oh, spinach, right. Yeah.
So we're actually going to cover a whole range of topics on men's health today and talk some more about some foods in addition to spinach.
Oh, awesome. There's more than just spinach then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
So today we're going to talk about the top 5 health problems that men are winning at.
Winning, because men like to win. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
And why men die sooner than women.
Or they don't live as long. I prefer the sounds of that stat better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the 5 lifestyle habits that are detrimental to men's health.
Okay, good to know.
And 5 important factors to live longer and optimize health.
All right, well, let's get started.
All right. I want to start with a Mae West quote. It's not the men in my life, it's the life in my men.
Oh, well, exactly. That's pretty important, right?
Totally is. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a little bit of life there.
Oh, that's right. And unfortunately, men are winning at 5 of the top health problems.
That's a confusing way to put it, but we'll understand it by the time we're through this.
Well, I said winning is, I think, because with the male ego and competition and that whole idea of winning, it helps people to perk up and listen.
Yeah. Winning sounds like a good thing, but in this case, it isn't. These aren't things you want to win at.
No, and you probably know the first one, eh? The number 1 leading cause of death for men.
Oh gosh, I got nothing funny to say. It's heart problems probably, right?
Yeah, cardiovascular disease, heart disease.
I was going to think of something witty, but I'm slow on the draw today. That's problem number 2.
No, it's not.
No, that's, yeah.
No. So heart disease and, all the risk factors for that, like high blood pressure and high cholesterol, stress. So all those can affect your risk of heart disease. And it is the number 1 leading cause of death in men.
In men. And it doesn't affect women as much?
It's more than 50% men.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And are we going to discuss why it affects men more than women?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll leave you. We'll get to that then.
All right. Number 2 is cancer.
Cancer. Yeah. That's a big one.
So it's the second leading cause of death. And it's in men, colorectal cancer, lung, and prostate are the male cancers.
Right. Okay. Those are the most common.
Mm-hmm. And then number 3 is diabetes.
Right. Okay.
And looking at all those that we've first said, the top 3, they're related to...
What do you mean?
Lifestyle.
Oh, okay. You asked me these broad questions and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say. You're like looking at me like I know the answer. I always hated that in school, and the teacher like points you out, and I'm like, I don't know. And you're asking your buddy beside you to like slip you the answer so you don't look silly in front of everyone. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, diabetes is up there also. And fourth one is ED.
Ed, our good friend Ed.
Erectile dysfunction.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'm just joking. Every guy's been there.
Okay. Number 5 is depression.
Depression, that's a big one too.
It's probably related to number 4. It's always depressing when your friend doesn't show up to the party.
10% of Canadian men, and it may actually be higher.
I was going to say, that sounds low.
Yeah. Well, men are less likely to seek help.
Well, yeah, that's 10% is the those who are accounted for.
Exactly. The stats. Yeah. 1 million Canadian men have major depression, and there's 4,000 Canadian suicides a year, with 75% men.
Wow. Yeah. And a lot of it's probably related to health. I mean, when your body's not functioning, you don't feel... I know for myself, when I don't feel right, when my body isn't feeling right, it gets me down. So I'm sure I'm not alone with that. Like, you can't do the things you normally do, and then that, makes you feel stressed and leads to depression. And so,
and boys in our culture are taught from a young age to like take it like a man, and
don't cry and all those things.
Exactly. Like showing weakness or vulnerability poses a threat to their masculinity, kind of, with our culture. And, real men don't get depression kind of sentiment.
Yeah. And it's maybe another reason why men don't often go to the doctor, because they don't want to know that, they don't want to admit that they're broken.
Yeah, absolutely. And then unfortunately, it's expressed as like verbal abuse in family members, or could be, aggression or irritability, hostility, or over drinking can be things that happen for men that don't seek help.
Right.
So why do men die sooner than women, or how did you like it for me to say it? Women live longer?
Yeah. That's more positive sounding.
Well, the gap is closing. It used to be 13-year difference, but now women, the average age lifespan is 81, and for men it's 76. So
has it gone up for men or down for women?
Good question.
Yeah, hopefully it's gone up for men.
Yeah. It's a really complicated issue, and there's no like simple reason. We can surmise a lot, but there's been some speculation. Is it hormones? Like for men, testosterone kills and estrogen can protect, but kind of, estrogen can help with your good cholesterol levels, your HDL. Both men and women have both types of hormones, just in different amounts.
Right.
And another reason, maybe sleep and stress. So women tend to have better sleep, get better sleep, don't have as much insomnia and sleep problems as men. And stress, generally women are better at handling stress and dealing with stress, and they tend to seek out support, just like with the depression. They're more proactive and will go see a doctor, get their checkup. I know men who are married live longer than bachelors.
Interesting.
And I think maybe that's part of that, like women, their wives kind of
nurture.
Yeah, and go get a checkup. If something's wrong, like go see the doctor, get it, like go
pester.
Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Pester. Nag. No.
Yeah, there you go.
No, not at all. Yeah, there's a good quote from Mickey Mantle. If I'd known that I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself.
Yeah. We had a friend ages ago that just went hard and didn't plan on living past 50. He kept saying that. He said, I'm planning to die before I'm 50.
What?
So I'm going to live hard and go hard. And he smoked and drank and just had a crazy life. And I haven't heard that he's not still going. So I don't know.
Is this when you were a kid? You knew him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's
yeah, pretty crazy, hey?
I know, it's funny because I think when you're young, you feel invincible, and especially as a man. I think the competition and the male ego and just like live life hard and more extreme, way of living. And I think as you age, you kind of realize, wow, my health is important. And what I do in my life, my lifestyle can actually impact how I'm breathing and my energy level and, blood sugars and my obesity, whatever. So it's all related, right?
Yeah. Things hurt more too when you get older. So you start to notice things that you wouldn't have noticed when you were younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely. And that's actually the final reason, the biggest reason that we're going to discuss about why men die sooner than women, or women tend to live longer. And it's that lifestyle factor.
Oh, right.
That's a huge one. So women do tend to lead healthier lifestyles. That could be also changing as there's more information and more men trying to, take more control of their health, especially actually through the pandemic. It really propelled people to take more control of their health. And like some of the sentiments is like, worst case scenario, I gained some weight, but I didn't die of COVID, that kind of thing. So, people are kind of like, oh, I gained weight because I was stuck at home or whatever reason, but it's brought, health to the forefront and like, okay, what I do in my life can affect my weight and my, length of life and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So when we talk about lifestyle, there's 5 detrimental habits that can impact quality of life and length of life. And they're ones we talk about all the time. And we're going to really focus on 2. Smoking. So there's higher rates of men smoking than women.
Okay, that's an obvious one.
Yeah. Drinking. Again, men tend to have more binge drinking and more alcohol intake than women.
And probably, I don't know if there's statistics for this, but what they're drinking is maybe more detrimental. I'm just surmising, but I know men on average tend to drink different beverages than women. So
right. Oh yeah, I didn't look into that. That's
I don't know if I'm sure there's data for that too, but
yeah, we should look at that. That's just like hard liquor and beer versus wine maybe, but I think that might change. That might be changing too. I know there's like the pandemic, drinking was happening more in the last 2 years where people were, opening a bottle of wine and just drinking more regularly. The next one is exercise and lack of exercise. So men tend to not get as much exercise as women overall.
Right. Which seems odd because you think when you go to the gym, you just assume it's going to be full of guys, but that's just a small percentage of the population that's
go to the gym,
pumping iron.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. Look at the people walking when you go for walks and stuff. I was
just going to say, like, just general exercise, out walking and doing that kind of stuff. It's more women more often than men.
Exercise classes a lot of times are.
Yeah, you're right.
I think women enjoy, group activities like different exercises and yoga and stuff like that. So obesity is actually one that people are surprised to hear because you hear a lot about women and obesity, but actually there's a higher rate of men with obesity.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And overeating. So it's similar to the obesity, but overeating like the...
kind of leads to it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it could be related. It's not always the cause, but just the overeating, kind of the proportions are off in terms of healthy eating.
Right, I see.
Yeah. So that's the 5 detrimental habits. So smoking, drinking, lack of exercise, obesity, and overeating.
Those you said are more common in men than in women, those 5 things.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
So with the cardiovascular disease and heart disease, as I mentioned, the high blood pressure and high cholesterol and stress and diabetes can play a part in heart attacks and risk of cardiovascular disease.
Right.
And part of that could be the like type A personality we talked about, like the competition, the male ego. There's a quote, men run the world and women make the world run.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And that is actually, it can lead to higher rates of prostate cancer too. What's good for the heart is good for the prostate, but also what's good for the heart is good for the erection.
Oh, well then.
With blood flow.
Yeah, blood flow. There we go again.
Yeah. Prime the pump to raise the bar.
Nice.
So yeah, and I mean, we talked a lot about that on our Sexy Foods episode 5. Or was it
episode 6?
Sorry, episode 6, right. And we talked about blood flow and the nitric oxide in foods.
Yeah, not nitrous oxide.
No,
that's for your race. That's for your race car too.
Okay.
It's another guy thing.
So a crappy diet can sink your erection.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Like the foods you eat or don't eat and when you eat can really impact blood flow and can impact your risk of ED. So, and there has been studies, men who consume a pro-inflammatory diet have higher odds of testosterone deficiency. Researchers looked at the relationship of dietary inflammatory index and hormones or testosterone, and they found that men who consume a pro-inflammatory diet had more likelihood of deficiency of testosterone. And actually, we talked all about anti-inflammatory diet, so the foods to help with that in episode
19.
Wow, good. Top of your head. That's good. That's great. That's awesome. So yeah, like crappy diet can sink your erection. So some of the foods that can impact that are also the similar foods that can impact your cancer risk or diabetes. So a lot of the foods we've talked about before, do you know?
Processed foods, I would guess.
Yeah. You know, there's like this whole male extreme with diets. So extreme keto or paleo or the caveman diet. And sometimes they characterize it as a life hack. And so like steak and eggs or burgers or steak and mashed potatoes.
Need a cup full of raw eggs.
That's right.
Just raw. I'm going to suck them back raw. Because I'm a man. Is that what you mean? Those kind of things?
Yeah, exactly. So those, you know, they're high in saturated fats and it's like a lot of meat and the ratio is off with the not enough vegetables and salads. It doesn't seem as masculine, maybe. I'm not sure.
Definitely a stereotype there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like the man burger.
Right.
Big, huge slab of 50 ounces of meat on this burger.
That's right.
If you can eat it, you get another one for free.
Well, it's kind of like your friend who said he wasn't going to live past 50 or whatever. It's that extreme kind of mentality. Like, I'm going to...
Yeah, just go hard and I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think men are starting to try to improve their lifestyle and their diet by counting macros, as they might call it, or intermittent fasting or CrossFit. Different things that is in their language, and it's helpful for them to take control. To
make it acceptable.
Mm-hmm, exactly. There's a great Dutch proverb. Death is life's way of telling you to slow down.
It's kind of too late though, isn't it?
It's a type A personality kind of sentiment. People that live really, you know, they're very...
busy?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, type A.
Yeah.
Death is life's way of telling you to slow down.
Yeah, I guess it would be, but it'd be too late.
It's kind of
like one of those warnings after the fact, like the bridge out sign when you're like already over the cliff. Oh, by the way, the bridge is out.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah, totally. That's good. So the 5 important factors to optimize performance and live longer. Do you want to talk about that?
I want to talk about all of this stuff.
Okay. So with men, it's better to say like goal focus versus following rules or being compliant for wellness. You know, that men don't typically respond to that type of language, but it's more like goal focus. Like I've got a plan. I've got a monitoring system, some sort of way to track progress, Fitbit, whatever that helps with, you know, reaching goals daily goals.
I like to see results.
Absolutely.
Is that a male thing?
No, I think it is. It can be male or female, but I think
it's more.
It's like the competitive part of things, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and seeing results is really key. But it's good also for men, especially if they have that typical like type A type personality and the way that their drive. It's the biofeedback. So just listening to their body and like thinking, okay, my chest is feeling tight, or, you know, just ways to kind of feel, like be intuitive around, okay, I'm going too hard, or I'm not sleeping well, I'm too stressed, or, you know, doing too much, and just listening to what your body's telling you, and like, okay, you need to take a deep breath, or you need to like slow down, or you need to take a break. And, you know, that's really key also. And I think the device you have, your watch, is really helpful for that. Like, I mean, you also can listen to your body and be intuitive, but you also have this monitoring system to kind of track how you're feeling.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more information, and you can go overboard with it and be all about the stats, but it's nice to have some feedback. It's like when you do a test in school and you finish the test and you're like, I think I did pretty good. I think I got most of the answers right.
Yeah.
The watch is kind of like getting your test back.
Oh.
It just confirms what you think.
I like that.
Except sometimes you get a D. It's like, damn, I didn't see that coming. I thought I did really well.
Like with the sleep, when you have a really good sleep,
yeah,
and then you wake up and it says 5% body battery or something.
Or whatever, whatever number is out of whack. But yeah, it's usually, I mean, in an ideal world, it confirms what you already think and feel about what's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, like if the step counter thing, like if, you know, you're trying to get 10,000 steps a day, and then you reach that, and then the next day or the next 3 days you aim for 11,000 and then 12,000, and it's a way to kind of like up your game.
Yeah, it's just like little mini competitions with yourself that you can push yourself a little bit to stay healthy.
Yeah, and you get little dopamine hits along the way from that feeling of accomplishment.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so back to 5 important factors to optimize performance and live longer. Number 2 would be increasing your vegetables to help with your circulation and the blood flow. And, you know, you're thinking of the nitric oxide and some of all those foods that we talked about in episode 6 about blood flow, like beets. There's a good one. Spinach.
Spinach. I was going to say spinach.
Spinach, yeah.
Spinach. Yeah.
But what else?
What else increased? Garlic was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think garlic was one.
Really good.
There's nuts. I think.
Yeah. Nuts and seeds are really healthy. The cruciferous.
Pomegranate? That was good for something.
Yeah.
Pomegranate, I think.
Yeah.
Juice. What were you going to say?
Cruciferous vegetables.
Broccoli. Cauliflower.
Mm-hmm.
Are those the only ones?
For the cruciferous?
Yeah.
Sorry, cruciferous. The collard greens, bok choy,
Oh, really? They're all part of that group too?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, if you go down to the garden and see anyone that grows and has, when you cut it, it has a cross.
Oh, like it's got a big chunky stalk on it.
Yeah, and it actually grows it in the way of a crisscross, like a cross. It's really interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
So that's why it's called cruciferous.
What's the other word?
Cruciferous.
No, but but it's like the crucifix.
Right.
Yeah, which is a cross.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So any like increasing all those vegetables would be a great way to help your body with circulation and for blood flow, for preventing heart disease, helping with ED, helping with blood sugar, so keeping your blood sugars better. And the next one is fiber. That's another one that will really help with blood sugar control and prevention of all of those, the diabetes, the cancer, the heart disease, and also the gut-brain connection. And they're finding more about gut, brain, and health and depression.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Connection with that.
Yeah. So we had a whole episode on fiber. So that's one to refer back to. I think it was episode 18.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So that's another one to help optimize performance for men and women. Another one that, as we mentioned, like with all the extreme type diets with paleo and caveman and extreme keto, one thing in your diet to try to aim for is less meat, less saturated fat. So those animal fats, less cholesterol, less sugary sweets and overly processed foods that have lots of grams of sugar.
Right.
And we talked about the sugar, on the label reading episode.
Yeah. How to read, how to look for certain things.
That's right. Yeah. And the last thing is making sure you get enough of some of those key nutrients that a lot of people are lacking, like vitamin D3. And that's good for your immune system, your bone health, your cognition, your cardiovascular health. So if you're deficient with vitamin D, then you can have problems with your immunity. You can have problems with your heart health, possibly cognition issues. So it's really important to get enough of that. And we know in the winter we don't get enough through the sunshine because it's a sunshine vitamin. So many people do need supplements for vitamin D3. So that's one to make sure that you're getting enough of that throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Omega-3 or fish oil. So including fish twice a week is really key to get your omega-3s.
Right.
And magnesium, some people need a supplement, but if you have a balanced variety in your diet, you might not need a supplement. So if you get enough whole grains and nuts and seeds.
Right, I see. The magnesium containing foods.
Yeah, which is widespread in the diet. So it's if you're eating, a really wholesome diet, like the Mediterranean type diet.
A lot of variety.
That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the plant-based, like the whole grains and the nuts and seeds and the vegetables, then you're going to get your magnesium.
Nice.
And a multivitamin mineral is probably a good idea for most people. Men, the one thing with the difference with men and women supplements for multivitamin is the iron. So most men don't need extra iron in a supplemental form.
Because they're pumping it so much, you mean?
You're funny.
Yeah.
Well, they don't lose iron like women do with the period, right? So typically you don't want too much iron you don't want any extra iron in your supplement.
Gotcha.
And if you are a man who is taking statin medication, so you have cholesterol issues and your doctor's prescribed statin medication, you might need a supplement of coenzyme Q10, or some people know it as CoQ10.
Okay.
And that helps with a deficiency that's seen in people that are taking those medication to help with cholesterol.
And that's like a heart related thing too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that, do you have any questions?
No, I think we covered most of it.
So we talked about 5 health problems that men are winning at, why men die sooner than women, the lifestyle habits that are detrimental to men's health, and 5 important factors to help live longer and optimize health.
So if you could sort of give a little 2-sentence advice based on everything we just talked about to wrap it up, what would that be?
Quit smoking, drink less, increase your activity, and try to add more vegetables in and more fiber-rich foods and less meats.
And listen to your wife.
That's right.
Right? You said that was good.
In every family, your wife is your dietitian.
Oh, well, I suppose, yeah, a lot of times that's
or
the case.
Health coach or health guide a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, that hopefully is helpful for some people out there. It'd be interesting to see how many men actually listen to this episode, because men often don't pay attention to their health, right? So there'll be a bunch of women listening to this episode trying to convince their husband to listen to it. So
probably, yeah.
For any guys that have made it to the end of this episode, good on you.
That's awesome.
We'll celebrate with a beer.
Or a carrot.
Or a carrot. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for that, Sandra. We will carry on with more fun stuff next week.
Sounds great, Rob. Thanks.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.